Hey guys, it is Tanya and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be renovating a home you maybe are familiar with if you've been a fan of the Sims franchise for a while, and it's kind of a hot mess in The Sims 4. And of course I am talking about the Goth family home from the Sims 4 base game. She's questionable, she's got a very unique shape, and brown windows. I really wanted to renovate this home and turn it into the house I feel like the Goth family deserves, because what they have in base game is, no. So that's what we're going to be doing here today. But before we get into it, I did want to say thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. Explore new skills, develop existing interests, and get lost in creativity. They have classes in everything from business, maybe some finance, self-improvement, and even making YouTube content. I get a lot of comments from you guys saying that you're interested in starting to create content online, but you're not really sure how to get started. I really enjoyed YouTube Success Script, Shoot, and Edit with MKBHD. This class teaches you solid information on how to get started in content creation. Marquez talks about the various steps in creating content on YouTube, starting with explaining how a video is made before diving into more specifics, including storyboarding and editing. He breaks it down into easy to follow steps and really gets you questioning on why you want to create content and what you would want to watch. Whether you're looking to fend off boredom or pick up a new skill or two, Skillshare has got you covered. And they were generous enough to offer the first 1,000 people that click the link in my description down below a free trial of the Skillshare premium membership, and it's only about $10 a month after that. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get into that renovation. So I am starting here by just deleting the landscaping out front and starting to delete the fences. I thought the best way to get started was to delete the things that I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with these yet. And then I started tackling the roof because I ultimately wanted this house to still be recognizable as the Goth family house. It just needed quite a major facelift. I wanted to keep the general layout the same and the appearance on the outside, but it needed some fixing. So you can see I am going to be roofing this portion of the house with actual roofs versus the fence that they had before, but I am still keeping the general shape. I cut off a couple of extra bump outs that this build had, and I'm keeping the tower up on the top floor that poor Alexander currently has as a bedroom. He's in the attic. I do fix that. I do keep that tower, but it's no longer Alexander's bedroom. I am so excited that I finally was able to give him a bedroom on the second floor with the rest of the family, and this felt like the kind of family that might have a butler. So I made the top tower into like a butler's quarter. It has like a kitchenette, a bathroom, and a bedroom space. It's sort of like a studio apartment, and I think that came out so cool in the end, so I'm excited to show you guys how that did come out. But if you're interested in downloading this renovated version of the Goth family house, I will have it available on the Sims 4 gallery. You can find it under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You can also find it under the hashtag MissGryphi, and that information will also be in the description down below as well. Just a heads up though, this house does get a little bit expensive. This is the most expensive house I've built in a while or renovated in a while. It comes in at 234,296 simoleons. So, I mean, it makes sense. It's the Goth family house. They have money. So I was pretty happy with that and surprised at the same time. I didn't think it was going to be that expensive. But then again, I think I have two different knight statues in the entryway. So understandable to an extent. Anyway, on the outside here, I am trying to figure out adding a little bit more dimension to the right side of the build. I did really shrink down the porch space that I was starting to add on and decided having a small bump out over on that side would be nice, and trying to figure out which windows I wanted to go for as well. I ended up using these ones primarily from Realm of Magic. I just think they fit the style so nicely, and I really wanted to embrace that dark color scheme, that like gothic look of the Goth family house, but I wanted to also introduce some contrast. So I am using these, oh goodness, what would you call them? They're like trim for the different walls that you can see I have all around the build in white right now. They're from Vampires, and I think they are so pretty. I tried them in black at first, but I really enjoyed the contrast that having the white trim with the black roofs and the black walls brought to this build, and I just think it makes it pop a little bit more. So that's just what I decided to do. I also ended up using this base game fence on the bottom. On the top, I ended up swapping it out for a half wall, but I think this fence was really nice once again because of that contrast with the black and the white. I also end up adding quite a bit of ivy to the outside of this build, and we're starting to work on landscaping. I don't do a whole lot. There's a few bushes here and there and a couple of these tall trees, and I mean, the house takes up a majority of the lot. That's just the nature of how big this house is. And while I did cut down on the size a little bit in a couple of spaces, you would have seen I cut off some of those diagonal bump outs that this house had. I still feel like it's a very spacious, like grand house. It just doesn't have a whole lot of exterior space. But I think that worked out okay in the end. And let me know if you think this is still very recognizable as the Goth family house. I was really trying to make it that way. But I'm curious as an outside perspective if I achieved that or not. I'm really happy with how it came out though. Anyway, we're popping inside now and trying to figure out, deleting some walls where I added additional space and figuring out like what I needed to move around. I end up making the staircase a little bit smaller in the end, but we're back outside now working on landscaping. I was bouncing all around in this build, and as you can see, I left all the furniture in there currently. I get rid of it later on, but I still wanted to have all the rooms in the same space, and I definitely took some inspiration from what was already present as well as the interests and traits of the Sims in the space. So like Cassandra still has some accents of like a hot pink in her bedroom. It's just not as overwhelming as it was in her original bedroom because that color is a lot. I think her room actually came out really cute. It might be my favorite bedroom, although I really like Alexander's too. We'll talk about that more when we get to it. I'm adding a fence in the back and also getting some more of these Realm of Magic windows. I kind of go overboard with them. I end up deleting some of them in the end. And then inside, in a little while, I should be changing the floors and figuring some of that out and repainting the walls. But I'm still trying to figure out, we have this door to a balcony in the front that was in a bathroom, but that bathroom doesn't stay there. That bathroom ends up being Alexander's bedroom, and then the big windowed area ends up half being a bathroom and then half being a office space. So this house gains an area for a butler and it gains a whole office area. And I don't feel like it got that much bigger. It's probably about the same amount of tiles. It's just I redistributed those tiles in different areas. I cut off some bump outs and added different ones in different spots. You will have seen that already. But then we are just starting to lay out where some of the windows are going to be, altering the floor plan slightly. And you can see pretty much the dining space, the kitchen, and the living room are all in the exact same spots. I just added some dividing walls and repainted things, and we're going to keep repainting things. I ended up using this flooring from, where is this one from? Is this one from Eco Lifestyle? I think I used an Eco Lifestyle one. I just thought it was really pretty because it still has that really dark tone to it, and there's black accents in it, but it's primarily a dark brown. And I just thought that looked nice, and then I end up using these couches from Cottage Living in the living room. They are so pretty. I feel like they still have the same vibe as the base game couches that were in here originally. Obviously, they're not red. I decided to go for a grayish black color instead, and there are some red curtains. There's plenty of red accents throughout this house, but I was primarily going for grays and blacks. I thought that looked a little bit less harsh, I suppose, and I think it looks really cozy. I know a lot of people are afraid to use darker colors and would be kind of inclined to brighten up this house quite a bit. And I did that a little bit on the outside with the pops of white, but on the inside I really wanted to embrace this because I absolutely adore this style. I would love to have a house like this. If this house existed and somebody was like, here, you can have the Goth family house, I'd be like, yes, please. I would love to move in. I love this style so much. So it was an absolute blast to get to renovate this house. I don't know why I haven't done it yet. I feel like this is something everyone did at some point in time, and I just never got around to it. And I've been asked to do it quite a bit, and I finally was like, yes, now's the time. I'm feeling inspired. Let's do this. I think it was just really intimidating to get started on it because I really did want to keep like the integrity of the house where it was still recognizable and not change it too much, but the original is kind of hard to imagine how you could fix it up, I think, because it just looks so odd, partially because the windows are brown and partially because the wall height is way too tall. I shrunk down the walls. I think they were the highest wall height, and I have them on medium now, so we still have pretty tall walls, but the tall wall height was way too big. Anyway, we finished the living room now and we're moving on into the kitchen, and once again bringing a little bit of lightness into this room but still keeping a dark overall theme. And I'm using these vampire counters that are black and white. These are some of my favorites. I wish these counters had more swatches, but out of the swatches they do have, this is a good one. I think there's 3 swatches, and the only one I don't really like is the brown one. There's the black and white one I'm using here, and then there's a green one, which is so nice. But in here, I thought it would be nice to add a touch of red with those beautiful island seats, the island stools that are from Get Famous. Actually, they're very over the top, but they just felt right for this house. Like, I wouldn't like those chairs personally, but I think for the Goth family, they were perfect. And we're just getting some decorations around the kitchen. I didn't go too overboard with clutter. I didn't think it needed that, so we just have some utensils, a cutting board, some wine, and then there is a side table over here with a shelf with some like kitchen clutter and stuff on it, and some pots and pans hanging below it. I can just imagine Bella sitting in here at the counter in one of those beautiful red chairs and just like relaxing with something to drink while their butler is cooking up dinner, maybe chatting it up in here. I don't know. I like adding drama in my Sims games. How do you imagine Bella and Mortimer's marriage is? Do you think they're like in a super loving, amazing relationship? Do you think there is some cheating going on? What are your thoughts on the disappearance of Bella in The Sims 2? I want to hear all the deets down below. I've heard people talking about how the different ways they play with this family are. Some people think like Bella is super innocent and faithful. Some people think she's kind of awful and rude. And it's just really interesting to hear how everyone interprets the same family in the game. So I'd be very curious, although I think it would be a little bit of fun to have a little bit of a romance with the butler. I think that's just a fun storyline to do in The Sims in general, and very Sims-like. I like a little bit of drama in my Sims games. I haven't done a whole lot of gameplay recently. I think the most recent gameplay I did was my very short cottage living let's play on Twitch. I did a like rags to riches, and it was a very chaotic mess, but it was a lot of fun. Anyway, that's very off topic. We have a grand piano in the entry hallway and 2 knights of armor, and then we are moving on into the dining space here. I've always thought that this was such a grand, beautiful dining area, and the concept of it is what I mean. I didn't really like how they actually had it, like the colors and the way it was laid out was a little odd. The thing that always bothered me was the brown windows. I know I've brought that up so many times in this video already, but those windows never used to have the proper swatch, I don't think, or maybe they did and it was intentionally brown. I'm gonna refuse to believe that and think that maybe they just didn't have the swatch. We just got the window update, so I don't remember off the top of my head, but I decided to combine 2 of these larger tables in here so that this could be a very large table. So I really like how that came out. It's for 10 people. We also have some armchairs, a globe bar in here, some artwork, and I'm trying to think what else. I think I add a mirror and some plants. Yeah, there's going to be a plant between these armchairs, and then I think I also get a plant and a painting over by the globe bar as well. I really like the globe bar. I think it's a really versatile, cool item, and it makes a lot of sense for a house that has a lot of money, which makes sense because it came with Vintage Glamour, which is all about, wealth and luxury and having a butler. And you can probably afford a butler and a globe bar. They work together in my brain. I would love to have a globe bar. Not that I drink much, but I think it's just a cool item. The amount of times that I see really unique bars and I'm like, I want that. I have no room for it. I have no use for it, but it's cool. I don't know if anyone else relates to that, but anyway, this is one of the bathrooms. I just decorated the one downstairs, and then we are working on the ensuite right now, I think. Is this the ensuite? Oh, I can't tell from this angle. I think this is the ensuite for the primary bedroom. So this is Bella and Mortimer's bathroom. And there ends up being a hall bath upstairs as well. And then there is another bathroom on the top floor for the butler. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 bedroom, 4 bathroom house. I don't know why I had to count that up in my head like that. But does anyone know why Alexander was put in the attic? Because I'm a little confused by that. I don't know if there was storytelling behind that. But it always bothered me because he didn't even have a door. There was just a staircase from upstairs into his room. And it just felt really weird, the layout of the space. And I thought he deserved his own bedroom. And even though I put the butler space up there, it's like a fully furnished like studio apartment. And I put a door at the top of the steps so there's some privacy. I just don't understand why Alexander had that treatment. I don't understand. Anyway, this is the primary bedroom. I ended up using this bed from university. I think it's a really pretty bed that I don't use very often because it feels really fancy, but it came in a gray swatch, which of course I wanted to use, and I used a painting above it from Dream Home Decorator, got some plants in here. I thought about using this couch, but it was a little bit too bright red. I mean, it does scream goths, but like I was going for more muted, darker reds in this house, as you could see from the curtains that I ended up using downstairs, so I didn't think that this one worked anymore. There's also a fireplace in here, putting those same curtains from downstairs, and then I got a vanity over in the corner for Bella. I could see her sitting there doing her makeup in the morning in her iconic red dress. I love Bella. I also put one of those posters from Vintage Glamour as well as like some inspiration for the makeup look. And I decided to add a wall here going into this room as well because it was so big. I thought having like a sitting room that led into the bedroom and the ensuite made a lot of sense. Then they have a door out to the balcony in the front as well. It's a very luxurious primary suite. But I also was just trying to fill the space because it was so big. I didn't know what to do with it. But that's most of what's in here. I'm just getting a couple more decorations. I think we get some paintings above the dresser over here. And I realized in editing that the top two are the same. I thought I picked all 4 swatches and I didn't. So please ignore it. I pretend you do not see it. But just getting some bedside tables and some lamps and a few ottomans around the space as well. I just thought that that looked nice. But here we are in Cassandra's bedroom. Cassandra. Anyway, we're in Cassie's room and I really like the bed I chose for her. This one is from Get Famous as well. It's a bit of a mid-century look and it has that like hot pink magenta-y color that her bedroom had before. But I think this is a little bit more tasteful because it's just a touch of that color. And so we have the rug and part of the headboard. And since she is creative, I decided to put an easel in here. Also, I don't know if it's by default or just in my game if I played with them at some point, but she had some skill in violin. So I put a violin in here in a little while as well. I also put this little sofa from My First Pet Stuff because it had the right colors, and I just think it's a cozy space. We're going to be getting some, oh my gosh, those are amps. I was like, it's a radio, but it's not a radio because in The Sims, that functions as a stereo, but that's not really what it is in real life. Anyway, this is Alexander's room. He has a room on the 2nd floor now. This used to be a bathroom, and now it's a bedroom. And he is a bookworm, so I wanted to add a bunch of reading materials in here. So he has quite a few bookcases. He ends up having some piles of books as well. And then just some like kid-like posters. He could have interest in whatever, and maybe they're actually posters from books he read. And so I end up adding those above the bed. I know right now they're void critters, but I changed them out for these instead. And then I'm getting some books on his bedside table. We get some more books on his little desk over there, and I should be getting some for right next to his bed as well. And then I got this like ottoman under the window that kind of looks like it has CDs in it, but I'm going to pretend they're more books. I like that idea better. And then there is a dresser over here as well. I really liked the bedspread that I used in this room. It's not one I use very often, but it's pretty muted and still has personality because I was still trying to keep all of the rooms really dark and kind of bring this black and gray color scheme throughout the whole house. But still have personality for each of the kids. So overall, really happy with that room. Anyway, this is the upstairs balcony. All that I put out here was a light and a chessboard. So your Sims could practice their logic skill out here, and it's a fun activity as well. And that's pretty much it for the bedrooms. Now we are moving on into the office space. Well, we still have one more bedroom, but that is going to be on the top floor, and that's like a whole butler's quarter type thing. It's like a separate apartment sort of. Anyway, this is the office. It's just a desk, a fancy chair, a corkboard, computer, some bookcases, It's fairly simple, but I really like how it came out. I didn't think it needed to be too complicated, and I put a couple other skill building and just like fun activities in there as well. So there's a guitar and a bonsai tree that your Sims could shape, and then we're closing off this staircase upstairs and adding a door in it because privacy. Let's have a door to our bedrooms. And yeah, there's the closet up here. There's a bathroom. I did cut out the bathroom decorating because I already showed a bunch of different bathrooms being decorated in this video, and it's pretty much the same except it's smaller. So I didn't include that, but there's a little kitchenette over here. It has a microwave and a mini fridge, a counter, and a sink. So no stove or anything, but the butler has access to the whole kitchen and could cook whatever they want whenever they want. So, you know, I don't think it's too much of a problem. I just figured it'd be nice to have a little bit of something up here since I did have the space. There's also a dresser, a simple bed, a little rug, and I also add a table and chairs over here as well. It's a pretty simple living situation up there, but I think it's nice to include all of those things if you decide you want to play as the Goth family and you do want to have them hire a butler. In the backyard, I added some swing sets for the kids, as well as a hot tub and also a barbecue for the family to enjoy some outdoor dining. But that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and if you click that bell, it'll turn on notifications to be notified of every single time I upload a new video. Thank you guys so very, very much for watching, and I will see you all soon. Bye, everybody.